And it's now our distinct honor and pleasure to bring on a former UFC champion, a former WWE Intercontinental champion, Ken Shamrock, the world's most dangerous man. Thank you so much for joining us today. It really means a lot to all of us here at ESPN Radio 100.3 The Game.
Well, I'm glad. I'm very happy that it does, and it definitely means a lot to me that I can actually get on and even still talk to my fans who support me all over the years. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So, Ken, we're going to talk about your MMA exploits, which have been monumental and tremendous later on in this interview. But I want to start out by asking you about the Royal Rumble, which was Sunday. Really the pay-per-view that really tries to put its finishing touches as it leads to WrestleMania. What were your thoughts on that pay-per-view, and what are your thoughts on the current state of the WWE?
Well, I'm not a guy that knows how to, put things together, and I'm not sure what they were thinking because I'm not involved with it. So I'm not sure where they're trying to go or what they're leading to. But from what I could see, it looked to me like it was a little bit forced, like they were trying to force something exciting onto the fans. And again, like I said, it's hard for me to know because I'm not in it anymore, but it just seems like instead of actually trying to dig down into the core, trying to put together some good stuff from the bottom up, it's like they're just trying to throw people in there who have been gone for a while, bring them back, get a pop, get the fans excited for a little while. But at the same time, too, if they're doing that, it's got to make sense. It's got to lead somewhere. And I think it was. And again, it's my opinion, but I think that by putting somebody just throw in there like that, I think it's not fair to them because they didn't really get an opportunity to prepare the fans. And it just felt like it was like, here you go. And then the fans were like, what? This has nothing to do absolutely with anything. And I think that's kind of what happened was I don't think the fans even knew where to go with it.
Ken, I want to shift gears a little bit. Whenever you were in UFC, it's so different than it is today. You were one of the founding fathers, and you fought in the tournaments and everything like that. Did you know way back then that this sport was going to blow up and become what it is today? No.
In fact, during that time, I probably didn't even really think much about anything. I was just kind of in the moment and, planning for the next day and the next opponent. Was just so tied up in it. It was going so fast. And so I was just kind of focused on the moment. And, and quite actually, when it first started, I didn't think that it would last. I thought, I was even surprised that the first one went off. But after that went off and it started getting popularity, I just didn't. I didn't know how long it was going to last. Not about whether it be popular or not.
Take me back to those days, man. What was it like fighting 3-4 times in a night? There were no weight classes, and take me back to those times. That had to be, very interesting the night of the tournaments.
Well, it was exciting for one. I mean, it was almost a confusion where I saw this. I was already fighting over in Japan. Nothing like this in the U.S. was even thought of. There was even no training stuff for this. The only time you saw anything like this was on a movie. People died. And so really the whole concept kind of, I think, when people were getting involved with was saying yes, including myself, but with not having a full understanding about what it is that really we're going to do, because the concept of no holds barred was never, ever a real thing. It was always something that people would kind of get a kick out of because we can go as close to no holds barred as possible, but it can't be real. And so the whole process leading up to this was, I think, doubt in most people's minds. The only ones that didn't have any doubt whatsoever were the Gracies. I mean, and obviously Bob Meyerowitz, because they were putting it on. But I think everybody else was kind of waiting for the big line of, okay, this is how it's going to work. And it never happened. And a lot of guys, I think, were taken back, especially when Gerard Godot kicked Emmanuel Toué in the face. I think it was one of the sumo guys. It's been so long. but he booted him right in the face, and the teeth went flying in the front row. And I'm serious, the audience, the locker room, everything, almost, it went quiet. It felt like, for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, it just felt like everything just stopped. But it only was a split second, but like I said, it felt like 5 seconds. And it was like, it just went quiet. Like, people just saw this. It was real. And the announcers, there was nothing. You could hear a pin drop. And then all of a sudden, the first thing that was said was by Wallace, the announcer, he just kicked his teeth in the front row. Just literally. And then after that was said, it just went nuts. And in the locker room, guys were literally, it was a frenzy. They were like, did you see that? They can't do that. And it's like no one really understood what that concept meant until that fight. And everybody knew exactly, this is no joke.
We're talking to Ken Shamrock, the world's most dangerous man, here on the Armchair Quarterback Show. Ken, you just gave us a great story, and I want some more. So I want to ask you, what were some of your favorite moments from UFC, whether it would be your first run there or your second run there? What was most memorable to you?
Well, and every time somebody asks me this, I probably give them a different one every time, because I had so many moments that were just really, really thrilling for me, like even the first fight, with Patrick Smith, where really the understanding of what this wasn't real until, you actually saw it. And then me going into the ring, Patrick Smith, who was this complete badass, bare knuckle, fighter from a karate standpoint, where they could hit you in the body, but they can't hit you in the head. And he was undefeated. And so I was going in this guy I didn't even know. And so that right there, when I won that, was just an absolute thrill. Because I had the thrill in Japan with the fighting over there in mixed martial arts. And that was just a rush getting in front of people like that. But now this took another step above. It was like, this was like the real thing, where I got arrested for it before, put in juvenile hall, got taken into custody by the ward of the court. I had trouble for this stuff. And now I was getting paid for it. People were screaming and chanting my name. That started me right there. But I would have to say, if I had to pick one moment, I would have to say it had to be when I first, it's going to be pretty much a draw, but the first time I captured the title, because at that point there was no such thing as a single fight. It was a tournament. There was always political hints in there with putting people with somebody in the first round and somebody getting 3 easy fights going into the finals. You had 2 tough fights before you got there. So there's a lot of that criticism about the tournament, where some guys were getting harder fights and some guys weren't. So the very first super fight, I was in it and I fought and I won it. And to me, I think that ranks up there very high, because that's something that can never be changed. Every single belt in the world goes through. Imagine this. Every single belt in the world, whether it's in an MMA in Japan or China, wherever it is, every single belt that fights for a title goes through that super fight belt. The very first fight in MMA history, and I got the title from it. Every belt goes through that. To me, is a thrill. The one that ranks up almost as high as that was my fight with Gracie the second time around, where I had an opportunity to beat the snot out of him, and that always really makes me smile.
That's awesome. This is the Armchair Quarterbacks Show, and we're speaking with the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock. Ken, I want to shift back to WWE a little bit. Would you go back there someday? I know you're still, a relatively young guy. Would you go back there and compete if given the opportunity?
No, am I young? I'm in great shape, and I always keep myself in good shape. Obviously, my timing's not there. I'd have to get in the ring and start getting my timing down. It'd take me 30, 60 days to get that done. But really, I'm ready to go. And I do that because I always want to make sure that I'm ready for opportunities, whether it's in MMA or in the WWE or pro wrestling, TNA, any of those things that can happen that will give me an opportunity to showcase who I am and what I'm about today. But, yeah, absolutely. In fact, that's my goal. My goal is to try and get a run at the WWF heavyweight title, WWE now. But that's the only thing in my illustrious career. Everything that I've ever done, if you looked at what I've done through my career, I have always been a heavyweight champion. I've always reached that level. Now, I was in the WWE, at the time WWF, for 2.5 years, and I accomplished Rookie of the Year, King of the Ring, Tag Team Champion, Intercontinental Champion, and I thought I was going to get a run at the belt. Considering at 2.5 years I accomplished so much that I thought, okay, now I'm getting groomed to be able to maybe take the strap. And instead, I didn't get the opportunity. And like I said, I don't have any problem with that. And I made the decision to try and do something else. And, they made the decision to go in a different direction, that's all business. No problem with that. But now that I am where I'm at now, I'm pretty much, pretty satisfied. I've done everything I can in MMA. There's not much more to do there. And I have got that one spot, that one thing in my career that I have not been able to have a chance, not accomplish, but to have a chance to make a run for it. If I don't get it, then I know, hey, at least I gave it a shot. But I, like I said, this is my opportunity. This is what I'm screaming out. Bring me back, man. Give me a shot. Let me take a run at it. I mean, I'm not asking for much. I'm not asking for anybody to give me anything. I'm just asking for a shot at the title. If I have to work for it, I got no problem working up the ladder for it. But I just would love to have a shot. That's the only thing on my credentials that I have not achieved yet, and I'm trying to get the opportunity to do that.
We're talking with Ken Shamrock here on the Armchair Quarterback Show. Got a couple minutes left. Ken, you're not the first former UFC fighter to want to go ahead and go back to WWE or go to WWE. In the last couple years, we've seen Batista make his run most recently, and before that, of course, you had Brock Lesnar go ahead and make his run back to WWE as well. What do you think that you learned in UFC that can help you if you were to have a second WWE run, and how would that help you in the ring?
Well, first of all, I think that whether it was WWE or UFC or TNA or Japan, the experience that I've had throughout the world of training and being determined, my determination and my I got no quit. It's like I have this determination, I have the desire, I have the work ethic. I just want the opportunity, and I think the experience that I've gained throughout the years has definitely made me a lot smarter, a lot more educated and determined, and also having a plan, an idea of how to get there, and putting that plan to work. And right now, I have all that stuff. I just don't have the opportunity yet, and I'm really hoping that they will see that I'm serious and that I would love to have this opportunity, and that they would at least give me a chance. Just give me a chance. I'm not asking for any handouts. I think I've proved myself throughout the world that I can handle bringing in a crowd and get the fans behind it, and that I know how to get in a ring and do my job. And like I said, I think I've earned at least an opportunity to go back and give it a shot, one more shot.
Well, I don't think I want to get in the ring with you, Ken. Thank you so much for your time today. Case, I could speak for Casey that we've been fans of your work for so many years, and
yes, sir.
We hope you get a second shot. And furthermore, I promise I'll go ahead and make the statement that Casey and I are going to send the tape of this interview to Connecticut for you to make sure you get that second shot. Ken, thank you so much. We can't appreciate it enough. You're great.
Well, listen, you guys, and I really appreciate the support. The fans have been awesome, too, man. They've really been supportive. And I just want to let people know, too, I'm on Twitter every day talking with my fans. Sometimes they post up fights, and they ask me about certain things. And so I'm on there all the time, and I would love for people to get on there and follow me. It's at Shamrock Ken on Twitter. Just follow me there, man. Get on there, and you guys want to chat, talk about some old times, that's great. And then hop on and follow me, and let's try and see if we can't push this thing forward and get an opportunity. Again, like I said, follow me on Twitter. That's my Twitter family, man.
Yes, sir.
At Shamrock Ken. God bless, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. That is the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock. Letting him off to a song that he knows very well, his former entrance when he was in the WWE back in the Attitude Era. Thanks again to Ken. We really appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and take a break. We're up against a break. We're going to be right back with more of the Armchair Quarterbacks Show. Richard Fisher and Casey Gisclair. Don't go anywhere.